The religious orders initiated the building of the ecclesiastical edifices in newly founded parishes. Oftentimes, a cemetery or a funeral chapel was built within the grounds of the church complex. The earliest churches were rendered in the vernacular idiom, simple in plan and fashioned of light materials with a high-pitched roof. Inside, the floor was either raised or of compacted earth, defining a rectangular nave. These structures were later expanded and made of adobe stone, coralline limestone, or brick, reinforced with buttresses to ensure their strength during earthquakes. Cut stones or bricks were laid with a mortar concocted from a formula that combined lime, crushed coral, crushed shells, crushed eggshells, molasses, animal blood, carabao milk, sugarcane extract, and egg whites. Ultimately, the churches evolved into monumental stone sanctuaries that allowed indigenous motifs to coexist with European styles. The Chinese and native artisans interpreted and executed the ornaments from classical, Romanesque, Gothic, Baroque, Rococo, and Mudéjar sources according to their own aesthetic discretion, often in simplified form and incorporated with local tropical motifs such as flowers, fruits, fauna, and Chinese decorative elements such as fu dogs, lions, stylized clouds, dragon-like scrollwork, and geometric lattice screens. The facade exemplified the tendency of Filipino ornamentation towards horror vacui. The lateral surfaces remained plain but articulated with side entrances and structural buttresses that came in various shapes. The whole external composition was lorded over by one or two bell towers, or campanario. Bell towers could be as simple as a four-posted structure or as grand as an elaborate detached stone tower. In plan, the tower could assume a variety of forms. The towers attached to the church were usually provided with baptistry at the ground floor. Ilocos churches had detached bell towers at a considerable distance so that during an earthquake it would not topple and fall over the main church structure. Despite the many changes over the centuries, the rectangular and cruciform appeared to be the basic plan of Philippine colonial churches. Some deviations from the norm were the Tayabas Church, which resembled a key, and Oton Church, resembling a Greek cross. The interior of a colonial church had two focal points. The altar mayor, or main altar at the far end of the sanctuary, where the Eucharist was celebrated, and the consecrated host kept in the sagrario, or tabernacle. and the pulpito, or pulpit, an elevated structure usually of wood, often placed at the intersection of the nave and transept, or crucero, or at the nave so as to amplify audibility of the homily. Side altars, or altares menores, formed by the arms of the transept, could accommodate several priests celebrating Mass simultaneously. The importance of the altar mayor, or main altar, was emphasized through the elaborately ornamented retablo, or altar screen. The band and choir performed at the coro, or choir loft, a high platform formed by a mezzanine behind or over the main entrance. Majority of the worshippers were left to stand or kneel. Long benches were provided only for the principales, or leading citizens of the community. Persons who sought privacy could attend Mass behind the tribunas, a screened gallery with entry from the second floor of the convento. Adjacent to the church was the parish house called convento. It served as lodging house for visiting dignitaries, storerooms for food and armaments, school, office, and parish archives. Another component of the church complex was the graveyard, or camposanto. In the early days, elite citizens could be buried inside the church. In the 19th century, with the advent of funerary and hygienic reform, cemeteries within the church grounds were abandoned in favor of new cemeteries established in the outskirts of town. Constructed in 1587, the San Agustin Church is the only stone church of its scale that still stands as originally built. One of the few structures constructed with a true barrel vaulting. Inside, a three-dimensional effect or deep relief ornament is achieved through trompe-l'oeil technique. Embodying the principle of earthquake baroque, Paway Church in Ilocos Norte, built from 1699 to 1702, evokes the grandeur of Hindu-Buddhist temple architecture of Southeast Asia. The composition depends on sheer mass and majestic silhouette. A detached bell tower tapers as it rises from the ground in a fashion reminiscent of a pagoda. Enormous buttresses sensuously curve along a scroll-like base. The Valley of Cagayan is known for Dominican-built brick structures that feature ascending or undulating volutes topped by massive finials. An excellent example is the Tumawini Church, where bricks were molded with ornaments and numbered to guide the bricklayers in assembling them. The Franciscans, who covered the area of southern Quezon, Laguna, and the Bicol region, built churches Church of Santo Domingo in Intramuros, and the all-steel San Sebastian Church in Quiapo. Neoclassic geometry is ingrained in the churches of Taal, Batangas, and San Ignacio in Intramuros. The Manila Cathedral is energized by Romanesque propensity. Non-Western neo-Mudéjar motifs lavish the facade of the Malate Church in Manila, as well as the bulbous domes and pointed arches of Carcar Church in Cebu.